So I thought I might do a kiln opening video. As you can see, I've got about 2 inches of standing water in the kiln shed here. This is actually the third time the shed has flooded this week. This is the sort of the aftermath of the hurricane. We didn't get the hurricane in Southwest Florida, but we got a lot of rain, which you can kind of see here. Backyard is pretty much flooded. So the water just came up again this morning because we have like bands of rain from the storm as it's going north. Storm's basically way out of Florida at this point, but we still had bands of rain. So the water came up again, and the kiln is unplugged. I've actually cut the power. The power comes into the shed right there, which is underground, so that's not a good scenario either. I'm not really that comfortable having the power on and having the water in here. So a few nights ago I was doing the bisque fire, and that's when the flood started, and I came out here at 4 a.m. to find all this water here with the kiln going, and it was at 1800 degrees and I was standing in water. So it was kind of scary, and now this is the third time this week this has happened. But I got the glaze fire done last night because it was dry, believe it or not. It was windy, but it was dry. So this the water came up this morning, kiln was done, it's off. I mean, the water's actually warm because the kiln is probably still, 700 degrees still at this point. So later on, I will open this up. We'll do a little discussion about glaze, because I do have some glaze tests that are in there, and some that I have done previously too, and they're standard ceramic glazes. So we will talk about that, and maybe even this water will be reseeded by then. Okay, and maybe the sun will come out. Well, the kiln is open. It's still a little hot. I'm not going to be able to take everything out individually right here, so I'm going to wait for it to cool down a little more. And it doesn't matter anyways because I still have water in here. So I will unload the kiln, and we will talk about it inside, I guess. There's no point in unloading it in here. Okay, well, here I am. Sort of dry. Been wading through water all day, but pretty much got everything out. I'm not that happy with the results. I had some kind of strange glaze results this time. So this was cone 5 with a 10-minute hold. So I've been having great results, and I don't know what happened. I've had some tests that I've done with previous glazes that I kind of gave up on. But when I got the new kiln, I tested them again, and they were coming out good on my test tiles. So as an example, this is called Speckled Moss. And I know it is a little dark in here. The sun's not out now. So this is by Laguna in the Moroccan Sands line. And the piece behind it right here has it on it. Now I know it's a different type of clay, but see, it's got all kinds of pinholes and craters on it. And this is basically what happens with this glaze. It works for a while, and I'm happy with it. It looks great, and it's smooth and has a nice satin finish, like you can see there. And it is kind of a dull green. It's not like the best glaze in the world, but it's kind of a cool, almost like a wood-fired or gas-fired look. And then all of a sudden it comes out like this. So I don't know. I think I'm pretty much done with it. I kind of give up on this. It's very similar to Fern Mist, and I do have a Fern Mist sample here too. And I had that come out really good. I don't have any pieces with that on it right now, but oftentimes it will do the same thing. It'll look all cratered and ugly. So everything that had speckled moss on it is no good. I may try refiring it, I don't know. I did a glaze combination, which I've done before. This is speckled moss. See how hideous that is? I have no idea why this is happening, but once again, this glaze has failed me, and this is over, it is called Waxy Blue by Kentucky Mud Works, and I've done this glaze combination before with speckled moss over it, but there you go. The thing that kind of saved me is I had some nice bowls, which are right here on the floor now. I washed the glaze off. It had that glaze combination on them, but they didn't fit into this firing. Otherwise, they would look like that too. So I kind of lucked out. So I washed the glaze off, and you know, this was another piece. Same thing. It has a lot of cratering pinholes, which may not show up on the camera. Some crawling and stuff like that. But Waxy Blue by Kentucky Mudworks on its own, it's in the middle. I put speckled moss on the edge, so there's some pinholing. But in the middle here, you can see it. It is a nice glaze. And in the beginning, I was using it for a long time and got away from it. So I thought I would kind of try to use that again. So I have some honey pots here, which, you know, mixed results on that, of course. So this is actually Spruce Blue by Clayscapes. Thing is sometimes, you know, in Cone 5, it can have like a satin kind of blue, which you can see here on the top. Dull, I guess I would say. This is the same glaze on this entire piece. So the bottom, the shiny, sort of denim looking color is spruce blue, and the top is spruce blue. The difference is this is a much thinner piece because it was thrown separately, a little bowl for a lid, and this is thicker on the bottom. So unfortunately, it kind of comes out different because of that, and it now looks like it doesn't go together. So there's something to consider when you're glazing, especially anything with lids. You may have something that comes out like this, and there's probably not much I can do about that. I probably just will have to get rid of that piece because I don't think refiring it will help. Had that a little bit on this one. I think this one's kind of okay. So I don't know. I'll just not be using that glaze for pieces with lids again. This is also by Kentucky Mudworks. It's called Hillbilly Blues, which I've shown before. I like this glaze. It's nothing too fantastic as far as the color. It's just reliable. And I used, on the inside of these, I used medium cork by Standard Ceramic, which is hard to see. But it's a very nice glaze. It actually looks great on the inside of these. It's the perfect color for the inside of a honey pot like this. So I have a whole bunch of test tiles here, and this is actually Hillbilly Blues on the same clay too, a little berry bowl strainer. But I'm not going to talk about every single thing just because the idea was really to talk about some of these test tiles. And this is a standard ceramic glaze called Snow on Brick, SOB for short. So this is on just speckled, not speckled brown, but brown stone. I still want to say speckled brown instead of brown stone. It's a great glaze. It actually shows texture really well, as you can see with just that line that I put across there. The thing is about standard ceramic, and I probably said this before, they really just don't show their glazes very well on their website. So I get frustrated with them because I'll decide to test one of their glazes and find out that it's fantastic, and on their website it looks like nothing. You know, just a little tiny little sample that you can hardly see what it is. And their glazes have a tendency to be infallible. They just seem to really work well. And they work at 5 and cone 6. So that's the amazing thing about standard ceramic, is they're just so like underrated as far as the quality. I wish they had better samples. They showed them much better than what they do. They're just tiny little thumbnails that you can't even see. So anyways, this is also one of their glazes. It's called Midnight Sky. It kind of looks like a dark navy blue, as you'd expect. Now the purpose of this glaze really, I don't think, is to use it on its own. I did one piece on brown stone. Let me see. Get some better lighting here. It actually came out really nice. I like it a lot. Midnight Sky is kind of a satin finish, which is kind of a nice thing for a black glaze. And I put Indigo Float, which is by Amico, a Potter's Choice glaze. Kind of just poured it over, dipped it a little bit, poured it over. It is actually really beautiful. And in person, you'd see a little bit more of the blue. I think it's kind of just looking kind of gray on camera, but that is the purpose of that glaze. I noticed that If you go on standard ceramic, they will show you more combinations with that glaze rather than the glaze on its own. And that's this Midnight Sky. Now another standard ceramic glaze that I think is really nice, I don't have that much of it right now. It is called Mottled Blue. So on their website, it looks nothing like this. It kind of looks like a teal or an aqua in person. It's really nice on my desert buff clay. On brown clay, it is a little bit muddy, kind of not that interesting. So it's probably more of a white glaze clay. If I would guess, why you'd really want to use it, probably would be on white clay. But it is a beautiful teal glaze. It looks like it's going to be really easy to use. I could definitely see doing bowls and mugs with that. Doesn't move or anything, but it's still quite nice. So this is what medium cork looks like on desert buff clay. These are all done at cone 5 because I'm doing cone 5 now. This is beautiful. I would do tons of pieces with this on it if it would sell. I don't, brown glaze usually doesn't sell that well, but I think if you just use it for accenting and grounding things, medium cork could be really nice. And it's sort of a satin finish as well. Going back to the snow on brick, which is a kind of a white, little bit pinkish, but kind of, you could call it beige, which is probably what I'm going to really call it. And that's what I'm going to use it for, because I have a lot of people who want beige on their pottery. So this is what it looks like on brown. I did some desert buff pieces. I got a little bit of pinholing, which seemed to be what happened with this firing in general. But you can see it is just subtle. I like how it breaks around the edges. You get that really nice break there around the edge. So for that reason, I think it's really going to be a good glaze. I don't know why I got the pinholing with it, because it's just this one glaze. It could be because I had to dip it down in this way and dip it this way. Maybe the overlap was a little too thick. So I only bought like 1 pound of that glaze to try. I like it a lot. I think it has a very like beachy kind of sand look to it. And I will definitely be buying that glaze. So what else? I've been having trouble with the world famous Sea Mist glaze by Standard Ceramic. Kind of came out pretty good on here. I double dipped this. Now if I only single dip it, it's really not coming out that good for me. As a single dip, that's what it looks like. I had a lot of trouble with it. It was very thick, Okay, I'm outside now because the lighting was getting kind of bad. So this piece is just the clay, which is Redstone by Highwater, with a little stamp that I made, and it has Opal by Coyote in the stamp. And I think this is a great way to use redstone for planters, because the clay itself at cone 5, not cone 6, it can be pretty dark, but at cone 5 it has a nice terracotta look, and of course it's stoneware. It's going to be very durable. This piece I did as a wall hanging pot, and fired it like this so that it would get a little flatter on the back, because I wasn't quite sure if it was flat enough the way I had it in the beginning. But that's a great way to use redstone. So if you have some extra clay around, sometimes it's good to just experiment and try different things, even not using glaze. So another thing that I want to do is use underglazes, maybe for screen printing. This is desert buff clay. And the thing is, you have to have the right clear glaze to use underglazes. Otherwise, the underglaze can float up into it, into the clear. The clear glaze that I'm using here is Coyote's clear. And it's actually a very, a lower priced clear glaze too. Okay, sorry about that. I got cut off, ran out of storage. Well, what I was going to say is that the desert buff clay on its own, under clear glaze, is actually really nice. So I could see, making mugs and things and bowls maybe with some screen printing just on the bare clay even, and just clear glaze it. And I think it would be really nice like that. It has a really natural look. So that's about it. Appreciate you watching this video, and if you have any questions, let me know. I will answer them in the comments below. So I will see you next time. Thanks for watching.